There is a moment in history that every Catholic should know. It was June 30th, 1988. Écône, Switzerland. Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre consecrated 4 bishops without the mandate of John Paul II. The next day, July 1st, the excommunication was already published in the official journal of the Holy See. That story seemed buried in the church history books. A painful episode, closed, archived. But what happened a few days ago will send shivers down your spine. History is about to repeat itself. Same place, same date, same decision. By the end of this video, you'll understand why July 1st, 2026 could be one of the most important days in the recent history of the Catholic Church. And you'll understand why the real question isn't about the SSPX, but Rome. Let's start with the facts. On February 2nd, 2026, Father Davide Pagliarani, Superior General of the Priestly Fraternity of St. Pius X, officially announced that the fraternity would consecrate new bishops on July 1st, 2026 in Écône, Switzerland. Without papal mandate, without permission from Rome. Let's understand who the SSPX is and why this news matters so much. Founded in 1970 by Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre in Écône, the Priestly Fraternity of St. Pius X today has approximately 700 priests, 200 religious houses and seminaries on 4 continents. Every year, it trains new priests entirely in the traditional liturgy. It's not a group of nostalgics, it's the largest traditionalist institution in the Catholic Church, with millions of faithful worldwide. Why did Pagliarani make this decision? The answer lies in the preceding months. In August 2025, the Superior General formally requested an audience with Leo XIV to discuss the future of the fraternity, the situation of the faithful who attend the traditional Mass, and the need to consecrate new bishops to ensure its continuity. Leo XIV did not respond with an audience. Instead, a personal meeting was arranged, but a letter arrived that, according to the SSPX itself, in no way addresses the requests made. In February 2026, the Vatican proposed an alternative path, theological dialogue, on the condition that the SSPX suspend the planned consecrations. Father Pagliarani responded with a letter to Cardinal Fernandez on February 18th. Impossible to accept. The consecrations are proceeding. And here comes the news of the last few days, the one many have not yet seen. On April 21st, 2026, the traditionalist blog Rorate Caeli published information confirmed by 2 sources within the society. In June, the SSPX will announce the names of future bishops. Father Pagliarani and Father John Fullerton, Superior of the U.S. District of the SSPX, both confirmed the information. The names will be released in June. The consecration in Écône will take place on July 1st. The countdown has begun, and in a few weeks, when the names will be made public, every diocese, every bishop, every faithful will have to decide what to think of what is happening. Let's pause for a moment. This is a detail that changes everything. Until now, the issue of consecrations was theoretical, a date on the calendar, an official announcement. With the publication of the names, it becomes concrete and personal. Every faithful, every priest in communion with Rome, every diocesan bishop will have to answer a specific question. What do I think of that man? What do I think of that choice? July 1st ceases to be a date. It becomes a decision that questions our consciences. Let's understand what's happening on the canonical level. Canon 1382 of the Code of Canon Law is unequivocal. Whoever consecrates a bishop without a pontifical mandate, and whoever receives the consecration from him, Both incur latae sententiae excommunication, automatic, immediate, and reserved to the Holy See. There is no need for a decree. It occurs at the very moment of consecration. This is exactly what happened in 1988. Lefebvre and Bishop Antonio de Castro Maya consecrated 4 bishops, Bernard Fellet, Bernard Tissier de Mallaré, Richard Williamson, and Alfonso de Galarreta, without papal mandate. John Paul II declared the excommunication the next day, but the society did not dissolve. Indeed, it continued to grow until it became the global reality we see today. But there's a theological and canonical distinction the SSPX has made for decades, and one that cannot be ignored. Excommunication affects the lawfulness of the act, not its validity. The new bishops will be true bishops with the real episcopal order. They will be able to ordain true priests. The masses celebrated by those priests will be true masses, with full sacramental grace. The thread of apostolic succession does not break. It branches out from the institutional structure, but remains real. Yet this distinction, valid but illicit, is exactly the foundation upon which the crisis of the last 40 years has been built. The faithful of the FSSPX have participated in valid masses, received valid sacraments, and passed on the faith to their children. And along the way, they demonstrated something fundamental. That tradition doesn't depend on an institutional stamp. It depends on the fidelity passed down from generation to generation, even through storms. There's a second level to consider, and this is the point no one wants to mention. Bishop Joseph Strickland, removed by Francis in November 2023 from the Diocese of Tyler, Texas, analyzed the SSPX decision in words that are worth quoting. "Consecrations," Strickland writes, "are not an act of rebellion. They are the response to a state of necessity. When the ordinary hierarchy no longer guarantees the integral transmission of the faith, those who guard that faith have the duty to ensure its continuity. The fraternity does not seek a break, it seeks survival. It seeks to ensure that in 50 years' time, there will still be priests trained in the tradition, parishes where the Mass of all time is celebrated, and seminaries that transmit the intact faith. It's not just a question of ecclesiastical discipline, it's a question of spiritual survival. And the SSPX has always defined itself not as an alternative to the Church, but as a faithful part of it. The question traditionalists have been asking for months is this: who created this state of emergency? The SSPX requested an audience, but did not receive one. He demanded answers. He received a letter that doesn't answer anything. He asked to be allowed to survive as an institution, and Rome responded with silence. And as we saw a few days ago, with the statements of anonymous cardinals to the pillar, Leo XIV is not familiar with the traditional communities, and his only concern is to see if they accept the council. In 1988, John Paul II excommunicated Lefebvre the day after the consecrations. The society seemed doomed. But already in that year, John Paul II himself signed the motu proprio Ecclesia Dei, recognizing that Lefebvre had acted for pastoral reasons, however mistaken, and opening the door to future reconciliation. And 20 years later, on January 21, 2009, Benedict XVI revoked the excommunications of the 4 bishops consecrated by Lefebvre. The question every believer asks today is Leo XIV a John Paul II, one who strikes immediately and reflects later? Or will there be someone 20 years from now who will recognize that July 1st, 2026 was the inevitable response to years of silence? Meanwhile, time is running out. In June, in a few weeks, the names will be made public. The faithful who frequent SSPX chapels will wonder what's happening. The bishops in communion with Rome will have to take a stand. And Leo XIV will have to decide whether to respond with immediate excommunication, like John Paul II in 1988, or with a new silence. Tradition is not afraid of July 1st. It has already survived excommunications, councils, revolutions. It will survive this moment too. Because tradition does not depend on permission from Rome. It depends on the fidelity of those who guard it. What do you think? If you liked the video, comment, Amen, God bless you.